What's going on, everybody? Packer Plug, back with another video, man. And it's been a minute. I missed the first 6 weeks of the NFL season. Haven't been posting. That's just life. But we back. We're here. We're consistent. The Green Bay Packers get a big win over the Arizona Cardinals, 13-34, at home in Lambeau Field. It really felt like the Green Bay Packers. This was a get-right game. Of course, last week they won as well in LA against the Rams, and Jordan Love, played well. He had a pick six in that game, but he got 2 touchdowns and got it done, and the Packers escaped LA with a win. This week, completely different game. They dominate. Jordan Love throws for 4 touchdowns. Romeo Doubs comes back and has 2 touchdowns. And a really good game overall. Great game for the defense. Great game for Jeff Hafley. Great game for the offense. Great game for the receivers. This is what you wanted to see. The Arizona Cardinals are 2-4. They were 2-3 before this, and so they weren't the biggest competition. But against teams like that, you should have performances like this. So it only points the Packers in the right direction. It's only good for their growth and their future. And looks like Jordan Love is finally on track. It was definitely a struggle. His first week coming back against Minnesota Vikings, throwing 3 interceptions, but throwing for 4 touchdowns and almost 400 yards. He looked great. And had that game gone a couple minutes longer, they probably would have won it. Right? But then you saw him come back against the Rams. He had that 1 pick six, which was a bad play. But besides that, he kind of got back on track with the receivers. He looked good, threw for 2 touchdowns. Defense played well, and you got to win. This game, totally different. This game, Jordan Love was completely in rhythm. And it just felt like when he's in rhythm, he doesn't miss. And I know a big thing on Jordan Love is his accuracy. Sometimes he throws behind people. Sometimes he overthrows the receiver. He's not flat-footed when he throws. He's falling off the back foot. He's moving. He's escaping the pocket. He doesn't really set and throw. But this game, it felt like he couldn't miss. Couldn't miss. Christian Watson was able to play. Christian Watson had a touchdown. Romeo Doubs with the 2 touchdowns after being suspended for a week and having missed 2 practices. Everyone was so worried about what was going to happen there. And people were asking, too, is Jordan Love going to try to force it to him just to, kind of appeal to him, wanting to be more involved in the offense? What is LaFleur going to do? Is LaFleur going to kind of cater to that for Romeo Doubs? He ends up getting 2 crucial touchdowns to put the game away. And they just looked, they looked phenomenal. Josh Jacobs, 18 carries, 62 yards. It's all right. It's good enough performance. Emmanuel Wilson, 54 yards, 7 carries. You look at these receivers. Christian Watson, 3 for 68. Romeo Doubs, 3 for 49. Ben Sims, 2 for 38. Jaden Reed, 6 for 28. It was a great day on the offense. And that's what you want to see. And this is the thing about Jordan Love in this offense is the ball can really go to anyone at any time. You could really spread the ball around. They don't have one guy that they're going to go to all the time. If Christian Watson can stay healthy, I think, Christian Watson is just beginning to show us what he could do. That deep ball touchdown, right, before the halftime was incredible. What he could do over the top with his speed, and we don't really have another receiver like that. But we have a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things. We got a lot of speedy guys that can go up the middle. We got Romeo Doubs who can kind of do a bit of everything. Christian Watson, who's just a speed demon. Dude is incredible, and this was the kind of game you wanted to see. As for the defense, they played incredible. They held Kyler Murray to 13. The game was rainy. So going in this game, I thought this game was going to be a lot closer. I thought, Packers' run defense maybe struggles, and Arizona Cardinals are phenomenal at running, right? And their secondary has been pretty good. Maybe Jordan Love struggles a little bit coming into this game with these receivers. It's raining. It's going to be hard to run the ball. Kyler Murray would be able to move out the pocket. Not what happened at all. First half was a lot closer. Beginning of the second half, a little close, but then the Packers just kind of took away their opportunities and really shut this game down. It's the kind of performance from Jordan Love you want to see. There was 1 interception. He throws the receiver falls down, it flies back behind him and gets picked off. Not really his fault. Not a real interception in my opinion. Ghost interception, right? So besides that 1 interception, Jordan Love was phenomenal. 22 for 32, 258 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. No sacks. This game, the offensive line, in terms of passing, was phenomenal. Jordan Love had so much time. Even the broadcasters were talking about it, that he could sit back there and he has all the time in the world. He really did. There was moments where he'd sit back there. You go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, and he's still not getting the ball out. And when he has time like that, Jordan Love is phenomenal. Jordan Love's phenomenal. We have great talented receivers. Someone's going to get open. They did often and quick. And Jordan Love took full advantage of those opportunities. Kyler Murray struggled. 22 for 32, 214 yards, only one touchdown. Yeah, and I mean, you even look at the defense, right? The defense played incredibly well. Xavier McKinney's been on fire. Absolutely on fire. A couple fumbles. Recovered by Kenny Clark, Jair Alexander, Carl Brooks. It was phenomenal. The defense played well. They turned the ball over. Jeff Hafley looks like, this defense is definitely different than last year when we had Joe Barry. Joe Barry wasn't aggressive. Didn't feel like they were going for it very much. And in terms of Evan punching the ball out, that's something I feel like you never see with the Green Bay Packers, right? You never see a Green Bay Packer go and punch a ball out to get a fumble. And Evan Williams did that. He comes down, punches the ball right out. We get a fumble. You want to see more stuff like that. Defense was incredible. Secondary was incredible. Now I don't know if there was much pressure on the quarterbacks in terms of D-line pressure, but definitely they were stopping the runs at some points. They were doing really well, and it's good to see this secondary really come together, man. It's exciting. Xavier McKinney, the streak was broken. He did not get an interception, did not get a turnover. But the team played incredibly well, and that's all you want is just shutting them down, getting them to go 3 and out. And if you get teams to go 3 and out, that's really all you need. You don't need a bunch of turnovers. You don't need a bunch of flashy stuff to happen, interceptions, pick sixes. We had fumbles, but oftentimes this defense was shutting Kyler Murray down and making them go 3 and out. In terms of our kicking game, it's still worrisome. Definitely missed a kick today, which is a normal thing that's been happening if you're a Green Bay Packers fan. And Narveson, is he the guy? Is he not the guy? We're just going to have to wait to see, right? Because we're stuck with him. There's nothing you can really do unless you're the Green Bay Packers and you try to go get a trade before the trade deadline. I don't really see that happening. He'd have to give something up, and he's just kind of a guy you're going to have to live with and die with, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I fully believe they're going to stick with him for the rest of the season. And, you really just hope that it never comes down to him having to make a insanely long field goal that's impactful in the game, like a last-minute scoring field goal that ties the game to send it to overtime or wins the game to end the game, because he just hasn't been that. And it feels like, if you're not in the 30, you really don't want to kick with him. You can tell Matt LaFleur's, when he gets to these 4th down situations, these 4th and 2s, 4th and 1s, he's a lot more willing to go for it than have Narveson march on out there and try a field goal, because, he just knows. And it's been a struggle with this kicking game. You could go and you could trade with the Panthers for their kicker, right? Because they don't have much of a season left, and make a trade and make something happen last minute. Do I see that happening? Absolutely not. Keyshawn Nixon did phenomenal. Jair Alexander came back, did pretty good. Shut guys down. Preston Smith did phenomenal. Rashawn Gary did phenomenal. All these guys, man, just this defense might be the best Green Bay Packers defense we've had in a while. And you look at these first 6 games of the season, and you got to think that getting rid of Joe Barry was absolutely the right call, because it just feels like Jeff Hafley has got it together with these guys. And you see it in these games, the aggressiveness. It's exciting to watch defense now as a Green Bay Packer fan. It's something we haven't had since, I think, like 2010, 2011, where you guys flying around, making plays, getting fumbles, getting interceptions. The last whole back half of Aaron Rodgers' career, it almost felt like that was completely missing on the defense, And there was moments where the defense was pretty all right, and we had star players, and we had Jair, and we had all this stuff. But it feels like this season there's consistent, exciting plays happening on defense in terms of turnovers, in terms of big-time stops, ending the game with them making the big-time stop. And then it's just something you haven't been used to as a Packer fan for a while. With Joe Barry, you're used to, okay, they have the ball last minute, last week against the Rams, right? Making that stop to end the game. It just felt like, okay, Packers going back on defense to end this game. Joe Barry's calling the plays. We're playing off of linebackers out covering a receiver. Seen this story a million times. They march down. We lose the game. Not the case this season. It hasn't felt like that because Jeff Hafley is putting these guys in place. It's a lot more aggressive and it's a lot more exciting. And you got guys that are just flying around, guys that are making plays. And this secondary group, it's exciting to see where they go. It's exciting to see what happens. I think Jair can still turn it up another notch and really, really send this thing to another level. And I think going into these next few games, if the Green Bay Packers offense can keep this momentum and this rhythm that they're now finding, it only takes time. You look at Jordan Love's touchdowns. I believe he has 12 touchdowns so far, and he's only played in 4 games out of the first 6 games. I think he's tied with the third most touchdowns this season so far out of any quarterback, which is phenomenal given that he was out 2 games. He throws for 4 in this game. In the Rams game, he throws for 2. In the Eagles game, he throws for 3. He has 6 interceptions on the season. But, you got to take into account that the Vikings game against probably one of the best defenses right now in the NFL. The Eagles game, first game back, not really in a rhythm. Today throws an interception, the Cardinals game throws an interception, but not really his fault because the receiver slipped. Last week throws a pick 6, but second game back from injury. It was the only one really bad decision by him during that game. Besides the first deep ball that he kind of threads in between the safety and the cornerback. But other than that, man, it looks like he's gotten the rhythm. The receiver's gotten the rhythm, and he keep that ball safe, and they keep this momentum. They might be one of the best offenses in football, and they're young, man. They can win a Super Bowl. Green Bay can absolutely win a circle. Now, the division is super tough. You have the Bears, who have the same exact record. You have the Lions, who are 4-1 or 4-1. You have the Vikings, who are 5-0. It's a tough spot. It's a tough spot to be in, but at the same time, this offense can take them really far. And this defense finally being able to make stops and be complementary to this offense, not just last year where it was a lot of relying on the offense and, Joe Barry, just bend, don't break, get us out of this game, find a way to win. The defense can win us games now too. Not only can this offense win us games, this defense can win us games now too, and that's what's so exciting because they're only better than they were last year. And last year, they made it all the way against the 49ers, 2 games away from the Super Bowl. Had they won that game of the 49ers, that all the way went down all the way to the fourth quarter before Jordan Love threw an interception on the final drive with less than 2 minutes left, they're almost in an NFC Championship game against the Detroit Lions. And I think now that you have a better defense, your possibilities of making the playoffs and making it to an NFC Championship and making it to a Super Bowl are only higher now. Only higher, especially after today's game. Because this Cardinals secondary wasn't a joke. They're not a bad secondary. They're a great secondary. So if you're saying, the Green Bay Packers play this mediocre secondary, you don't really know if this Packers offense is real, I think you could say it's real. You saw this last year with Jordan Love. And now you're seeing it now against a pretty decent Arizona Cardinals secondary. You saw it against the Vikings, who have a great secondary, great defense. Second half, he throws 4 touchdowns against that great defense. Had he not thrown those 3 picks, had there been a couple minutes left in the game, had the kicker made a field goal, you're right in there with it, with that Vikings team, right? You should have won that game. And we're going to see the Vikings again. And I have no doubt that this Green Bay Packers team is going to be in full rhythm with Jordan Love, and that game will be toe-to-toe, and they definitely have a shot at beating the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think the Bears are as strong. I think the Lions are a very strong team, but, we're just going to have to wait and see, and it's exciting. Green Bay Packers take on the Texans next week, which would be an exciting game. Him and C.J. Stroud battling out definitely is going to be a shootout. You can only hope that this defense keeps rolling and keeps doing what they're doing and shuts C.J. Stroud down, but it's going to be an exciting game with 2 young guys who are kind of very similar. Both had kind of breakout years last year. It's going to be a shootout. 2 very young teams. I can't wait to see it. Green Bay Packers going to get that win. I'm going to tell you right now, go Pack, go. Man, C.J. Stroud, that's going to be an exciting one. Leave your comments down below what you guys think. Do you guys think we could beat the Texans? Do you guys think this game was impressive, or is it because the Cardinals, it's not that impressive? Where are you guys kind of at with the season, especially with this competitive division? Let me know down in the comments below. Get your arguments, get your conversations going. Packer plug. Until next week, go Pack, go.